AITA for not allowing my foster parents to put parental controls on the iPhone my biological parents bought me. I, 15M, have lived with my current foster parents since I was 9 years old, but I've been in foster care since I was 6. I will call my foster parents Henry and Baron. I got a new phone as an early Christmas present from my biological dad. It is an iPhone 16 Pro Max, which is the phone I wanted, so I am very happy about it. My previous phone was an iPhone 11 and it was bought by Henry and Aaron. On my old phone, Henry and Aaron had set up loads of parental controls on it, so I couldn't download any apps without them approving it. I couldn't turn off share my location, I couldn't change my passcode. It would lock everything except their contacts at 8 p.m. every night until after school, and they had a time limit on YouTube, so I could only watch it for 30 minutes within the time where my phone was unlocked anyway, and I could only go on websites that they approved off, like there was a list that I could go on, and I couldn't go on anything that they didn't manually add to that list. These all really annoyed me, but whenever I asked for them to be turned off they told me that they bought the phone, and so these were the rules. Now I was given my new phone by my dad on Monday and I haven't used it yet because they're telling me that I have to let them put the same restrictions on the new phone as they did my old phone. I said no, because that isn't fair. I should be allowed to use my phone as my dad says because he paid for it. I said to them that my dad paid for the phone, so it was his choice, and that he doesn't want me to have those restrictions on. But now they've changed and said it doesn't matter who bought the phone, even though that was their whole point before. Now they're saying that because I am living with them I have to follow their rules, and the rule for having a phone in this house is that they put restrictions on it. I don't think that is fair at all, considering they didn't buy the phone. I don't see how they can do this. Before I got home from school on Monday they took the phone out of the box my dad sent it in and set up all the restrictions, and now I'm trying to figure out a way to take them off. I am thinking about complaining to my social worker because it is not fair that they put these restrictions on my phone even though they didn't pay for it. Relevant comments. Not gonna say you are in the wrong because of your age. I am also not going to say your carers are in the wrong based on the information you've provided. I am coming from the position that I previously was a foster carer as well as a worker within the law enforcement system. Your biological father is making a power play here. You may not see it because generally speaking, kids in care tend to see even the worst parents as being on a pedestal. For whatever reason, you've been in foster care for the majority of your life. A good portion of that time has been under the roof of your current carers. Whilst I appreciate that at 15 you think you should be able to do what you want on your phone, you need to understand that your carers are most likely just looking out for your best interests. Your biological father, for lack of a better term, is throwing in a grenade. In my opinion, he may be doing this for a few reasons. 1, to prove to himself or your caseworker that he is a good parent because deep down he knows he isn't. 2, to drive a wedge between you and your carers in exactly the way it appears to have. 3, because he cares about you genuinely and thinks that getting you an extravagant gift will somehow make up for you being in care since you were 6 years old. Honestly, it could be a mixture of the above. Regardless though, he should have discussed such a gift with your caseworker and carers, if there is contact between him and them, to make sure it was okay, and so that he could discuss the rules surrounding usage of the phone with you. If you legitimately think that your carers are not doing what is in your best interests, then you should speak to your caseworker. Let them be the mediator, as they are basically in charge. There are possibly also things occurring in the background that you are unaware of. For example, the court or department in your jurisdiction that deals with children in care may want contact with your birth parents to only occur when they are aware of it. Your carers could simply be following rules that a court or your caseworker has outlined to them. If you think that they are on some level being reasonable because they care for you, then perhaps sit with them and discuss how at age 15 you should have more freedom. This could look like having the parental controls but with less restrictions, or it could be without the parental controls but with your carers able to look at your phone/messages/photos when they feel there is a need and without notice. They know the unlock code to the phone. At the end of the day, it is about trust. Show them that you can be trusted with more freedom, then they'll likely be more willing to become more lenient as you get older. Try to make sure that regardless of how the conversation goes with your carers, that you keep your cool. Comment. They don't have a choice. The foster agency I worked with insisted that parental controls were on and were quite strict about what wasn't allowed. It's really common to prevent vulnerable minors being exploited, and if something happened to you while in their care, they could be prosecuted for not safeguarding you and also banned from fostering again. It sucks because this isn't your fault. It's not even that you're not trusted by them, they have to do this. The guidance for foster parents is insane, honestly. The amount of hoops you have to jump through to protect yourself from accusations are beyond belief. Comment. Maybe use this as an opportunity to renegotiate what controls are placed on it. Keep the location tracking as that's important for your own safety, even though I'm sure you hate it, and see if you can get them to agree to letting you be able to look at whatever websites you want, with the exception of adult websites, of course. Agree to keeping a passcode they know, but allow you to watch YouTube for longer. Give and take, that's the key here. Some you might win, some you might not. Given them a chance to trust you, and give yourself a chance to prove you can be trusted. It does sound like they're a bit constrictive in your phone use, but I don't know you. Perhaps you need those controls for whatever reason. Or perhaps, as I said, this is a chance for you to prove you're able to be responsible. Comment. You're 15, and live in their house. When you move out, you can do what you want to anything that goes with you. Until then, their house, their rules. Update. So Henry and Erin actually took me to McDonald's after school today, the day I am writing this, and they said to me they could tell I was upset with them and asked me to explain my feelings to them. I explained how I felt really frustrated that they told me the parental controls were, because they bought the phone and then when my dad bought me a phone they still put the same restrictions. They said they were sorry they gave that impression and that they could have explained it better. They asked which were the restrictions I had the biggest issue with. I said how I can't text/call anyone unless they approve it, how the phone locks at 8 p.m., I can't use it, and that I only have a 30 minutes on YouTube or TikTok and that I can't have apps like Snapchat, Discord, Instagram etc. They said okay, they understood why I was upset and frustrated and said they will discuss with my social worker how they can lighten up the rules while still ensuring I am safe. They said they don't want me having a long time on the phone because they don't think it's good for me, but they said in the meantime they will increase the limit to 1 hour for YTTT and that they will increase the bedtime until 9:30 p.m. I think this is a fair compromise. I said they seemed upset that I got a new phone in general, and they said they weren't upset at me but were upset at the situation. I asked what they meant, and they said that it was something between them and my dad and I didn't need to worry about it. But I asked them to carry on and I had to kind of persuade them to tell me. They had actually bought an iPhone 16 Pro Max for Christmas for me and had told my parents and my social worker that they had bought it and were going to give it me for Christmas. But my dad bought one before they could give me theirs and they felt upset that their big present had been ruined. But they said that wasn't my fault and they didn't mean to make me feel like they didn't care about what my dad got me. Honestly, that made me feel upset. I asked my dad why he bought me the phone if he knew that Henry and Erin already did. He said he didn't want Henry and Erin to have to give me something so expensive. But I said they had already bought it for me and he knew that. I said that was unfair and that he shouldn't have done that. He called me ungrateful. I asked him how he would have felt if it was the other way around and he left me on red. I actually feel really upset for Henry and Erin that my dad did that to them and I actually feel guilty even though I didn't know they had already bought me one. I'm not sure what to do now. I could give my phone back to my dad and have Henry and Erin's but if that's the right thing to do. Henry and Erin said that it wasn't my fault and that it doesn't mean my dad is a bad person, which I know. But I do feel really angry at him. Comment. Your dad was in the wrong all the way round. What he did was selfish. He wanted your happiness and praise for doing this for you while he knew they had bought the phone for you. He stole the joy of the gift they were going to give you. There is no other way to look at it. Your dad acted very selfishly and it caused you trouble. He doesn't deserve the happiness and thanks you gave him, so you should return his phone and limit contact with him and tell him exactly why he acted selfishly without regard for anyone else. That was immature for a parent. OP. I'm really mixed about that really. I've always known he wasn't a great dad or even really a great person but I don't really want to limit contact with him. It gets hard. We haven't spoken since I confronted him on Thursday. Update 2. Firstly, it makes me really uncomfortable that people were sending me hate messages and sending death wishes to my dad. People were messaging me saying they wish he'd live himself or that Henry and Erin should throw me out for being ungrateful to them. Sorry, but you people need help. It's not normal to treat people like that and it's not normal to say things like that to people. People were accusing me of being blindly loyal to my dad, which simply isn't true. I've said so many times that my dad isn't a great person, that doesn't mean he's a sociopath or that he deserves to die. It's so crazy that I get downvoted for saying, bruh, calm down a bit please, when I respond to people like that. Anyways, my dad is still ignoring me which is making me really upset. I've sent him some messages just basically saying, how's you? How was work? And stuff and he's left me on read every day since last Thursday. So I've decided that I'm just going to leave it and if he wants to talk with me again he can come to me. Henry and Erin said they felt really bad because they said they shouldn't have told me about what my dad did. But I said I'm glad they did tell me. I decided that I would keep the phone my dad gave me and we'd return the phone that Henry and Erin bought me, and we're going to use the money for a trip to Drayton Manor where we have the fast passes, so we don't need to wait in any lines, and we're going to take my little brother also. He doesn't live with me and Henry and Aaron, which is going to be so much fun. I'm really excited for that. I just want to clarify some things. I am long-term matched with Henry and Aaron, which means I am never going to be reunified with my biological parents, even if they became super parents with no flaws. I'm matched with Henry and Aaron, so I'm staying with them until I'm 18. This has been the case since I was 11-ish. There have never been plans for me to move back in with my parents because, to be honest, neither of them want me to. Sounds harsh, but it is true, and I like living with Henry and Aaron. Also, both my mom and my dad have children with other people now. We're still a family though. I just have a very big, very weird family.